Guys, what's going on? It is day 2 of the subwoofer install on the Mercedes 300 project. Today I'm going to be showing you how to run the power supply from the front of the vehicle to the back of the vehicle. And I'm also going to be showing you how to tap your rear door speakers so that way you guys can gain the necessary left and right audio for your amplifier, because the factory head unit does not contain RCA outs. Now, I'm going to be using an electrical schematic sheet, and that schematic sheet is going to tell me what color cable is what. If you guys do not want to purchase a schematic sheet for your vehicle, check out this website in the description below. That website is going to have a lot of cars in there, and it's a free website, so you guys can figure out what color cable is what for your car. You're also going to see something rather unique happen to me in this install. This side of the car, the cables do not match up at all. And the reason for that is because they forgot to order a particular color. So Johnny decided that yellow was on sale that day, so he ordered more yellow. And that is what ends up happening to me in this situation. If that happens to you, please guys, for the love of God, do not do the 9-volt battery test. I know you will see that on YouTube where people take 9-volt batteries to see what is the left and right for a speaker. If you don't know what color the cable is and you guys deploy the 9-volt test, be aware that cable may actually be going to your airbags. And if you do that, you could deploy your airbags, and that is something nobody ever wants to do inside their car. It is a nightmare to clean up, and it is expensive to fix. Always do it safely. If you don't know what color the cable is, keep going, take apart the door, and verify what color the cables are that are going to the door speakers itself, to the actual speaker itself. Now, you'll also see me solder inside this video. The reason I have to solder is because I don't want these connections getting loose on the rear door speakers. The last thing I want to do is hit a pothole in the road and the speakers cables go like this, then my amplifier is out of sync, and then my subwoofer goes kaboomy. I don't want that. If you guys don't know how to solder, feel free to use a butt connector, and make sure the butt connector has heat shrink wrapping to it. That way, after you guys crimp it, you guys can heat shrink it and you guys can get a better connection. In the video, I'm also going to be using a plastic lid from a spray paint can that I cut in 2 places to hold my cable. It does a great job of catching the resin if I drop any, and it does a fantastic job of holding the cables, which is win-win for me, and it's a lot cheaper than the helping hands. Lastly, you guys will have to remove your rear seats to install these cables. If this is not something you guys have done yet, right here is going to be the video for you. Just watch the first half of it, and that is going to show you how to remove the rear seats. Now, bear with me, this video is a little bit long, but it has to be that way or else you guys would not know exactly what is going on. If I was to skip around here, I would get a lot of questions saying, what about this, what about that? So by making it longer, it gives you guys the confidence to do the job correctly. Feel free to watch this video over and over. That way you guys can instill that confidence into yourselves, because this is something you guys can do with a little bit of patience and a little bit of time. Just stay with it. This is something you can do. And let's go ahead, get started with this project today. First thing you want to do is open up the hood and put the car into service mode. If you guys don't know what that is, that right there is the standard opening on a Mercedes. But if you guys ever have to work on the rear part of it, you just keep pushing your hood, and the hood's going to go all the way up to 90 degrees. So there you go. That is considered service mode. So now you guys know a fancy new trick there. And what we're going to need to do is gain access to our battery. That way we can start routing our wires from here and then start going backward in that direction. Okay, now that we have this opened and out of the way, I see my grommet that I'm going to want to take advantage of to run the cables to the car. It's a little bit tricky because it's actually located directly behind the battery. Hey guys, we're inside the car. Now we're going to go ahead and take out these 3 T20s and drop this thing down. I'm going to show you how you're going to get your power wire in through the car. Now brace yourself. It's going to get into tight spaces up back here. See that plug right there that I marked with that yellow sticker? That's where we're going to pass the wire through. So let me just take it off. So as you can see, you can put your finger right through there. You got daylight. I'm going to go ahead, push the fishing line through, tie our wire and start pulling it through. And then we're going to follow these whole cords of wires all the way through, all the way to the back of the vehicle. Anytime you're building a sound system for your vehicle, for your boat, for your car, for your home, they need to be built correctly. You need to have components that are working together and not against each other. A key part is selecting the right cable. In my situation, I'm going to be using a monoblock amp that has 500 watts, pure watts, and I'm going to explain that in the next episode. So this cable is rated up to 1,000 watts. So if later on down the road I want to add another amp to power up all my speakers inside the car, it'll be easily doable. You do not want to get anything lower. In my recommendation, if you guys are doing a monoblock in the back, anything less than a 4 gauge wire. You actually want to start at 4 gauge and work your way all the way up to 0 if you guys plan on putting something that big in the back of your vehicle. Now, the other important thing that you need to keep in mind of is copper. You want to make sure that you have 100% pure copper cable. You do not want aluminum, because aluminum will heat up, disintegrate, and then catch on fire. Before we keep running the cable down, we need to establish where we're going to be getting power from. I've actually selected this position over here, in there. That right there is a positive, and that unscrews, and it's going to give you plenty of space to come in from the side to get it. The advantage of this position is you're not interfering with the battery, and by not interfering with the battery, it makes future battery removals a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about any issues if somebody borrows your car and the battery dies and they don't know what they're doing. So that's going to save you that headache. Now, the only gripe I have about the NVX cable is they put this over the first 3 feet of it. That's a lot of area to super protect. And I understand, you know, they expect 3 feet of it to be exposed to engine heat. And I would understand that if the battery was way over there, but the battery's here, so maybe they should, instead of wrapping it for you, they should make this an option, because now I have to cut it right about here. That way I can position our fuse panel to go right there. That's exactly where our fuse panel is going to go. So it's going to go in right there, it's going to connect there, and then it's going to drop straight down. Let me go ahead and cut this cable. Remember guys, measure twice, cut once. It's the rule to live by, and I suggest you guys do it as well. Okay, now you're going to position it where you want it. It's about the location where I was thinking, right about there. Cable's got plenty of strength. So I'm going to go ahead and go right there. What I'm going to use self-tapping bit. Let me actually move this camera out of the way. I'm going to use this self-tapping bit. This way I can mount it exactly where I want it. professional looking as that. Now let's go ahead, get back over to this side and keep pulling cable all the way through. So now that we're officially done with the engine bay, we can go ahead and pull off this molding, because we're going to have to remove all of these trim pieces, 1, 2, 3, to get this cable underneath them. There's no way to actually get the cable underneath those trim pieces unless you take the molding off, but it's fine because we got to get to those speaker wires over here for the rear door. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so now let's move the seat forward, pull the cable back. this position here. I know everything's been on crazy fast forward mode, but I hope you guys understood what was going on. Now, I have an electrical schematic for the vehicle right here, and I'm on the right side of the vehicle, so right rear door speaker is H4 number 4. H4 number 4. Our positive is going to be the solid white, and our negative is going to be the brown with the white striping. Now, if you guys are looking at the electrical connections over here, this is going to your motor, so completely ignore that. And then you're left with these cables here. You got black and brown and red and brown. And then here, these two that look like they were so very nicely ran, those are your speaker cables right there. You have your white, which is going to be your positive, and then you have your brown with white stripe, and that is going to be your negative. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it here, and if you guys don't know how to solder, I'd recommend doing a butt connection, because we're going to hook up some speaker cable to go from here to the back of the car. We're done with the passenger side. We're going to move over to the driver's side. It's the exact same procedure as over there. Just going to go ahead and pop this off. And then we'll pull the molding off. Get us the 1, 2. And then up here is the third clip, and then we're going to do the same thing over on the front of the vehicle. So let's go ahead and get these puppies off. Okay, so it's the exact same thing as the other side. Just want to cut this off. This is just called friction tape, guys. Don't be afraid to take it off because you can easily just go to Home Depot and buy some more. Guys, so my schematic here tripped me up, took me for a tailspin. They had it as this one was supposed to be a pink and a brown pink. I did not have a pink at all. There's no solid pink, just a brown pink. But I ran a multimeter test on this and I was getting 5.6 out of these guys over here. So I went ahead, nipped these off, and sure enough, these are our culprits. The important thing to know in this situation is our ground is going to be the pink with brown on it, and our positive is going to be our yellow. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did on the passenger side, which is trimming them, soldering them, and running the cables to the back of the car. Let's go ahead and do that. Now what you're going to want to do is pop these little guys off. Get a flathead screwdriver, get in there, lift it up. There's one right here. There's two. Now with both these guys off, you can take this whole thing off the car. But since you're inside the car, you might as well take this off too. Just get your flathead in there, lift up, comes right off. Same thing on the other side. Pull this whole thing out. Get back inside the car. Pull this whole thing off too. Now you guys will get a chance to get a look at some prehistoric dinosaur device. Check this puppy out. Your Sirius radio control system. Does anybody still use Sirius radio? Alright, for the next part of the step, you're going to need a kind of like a fishing wire or a hard wire like this. The reason for that is because you want to get these wires from this side of the vehicle over this side of the vehicle, and you want to keep everything as hidden as you can. I know some of you are going to want to route the wires on top. You can, it's not my style. So grab here, pop up, you'll hear it pop. Take this little guy, feed him on over. There he goes. It's over here. Now I can take the wires. Anytime I do an install, I always use a shit ton of wire. It's a bad habit of mine. I know some of you guys are like, oh Raymond, you should use less wire. Guys, it's a bad habit of mine. I'd rather have more at the end than not enough. There's nothing worse than getting to the end of the project and you realize you're short a few inches. So we're gonna pull it through. There you go. Now, same thing. Come at it from this direction over here. Feed it down. And then feed the wires in through there. There you go. Now that you're in the back of the car, what you're going to need to do is route the power cable behind this area here and have it come down right about here. The reason you don't want to have it come straight down like this, it's mainly just my personal preference. I don't like these two being next to each other all the time. You guys can obviously just stop right there if you're going to be putting your amp right there. But in my situation, I want to take it to the next level. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these off. All we really have to do is take this guy off. It's just being held on by two bolts here and here. Just pop this off. 10 millimeter. Grab from the bottom, pull up, and then here, just start pulling straight up. Now with the whole thing out of the way, you can see where the cables are ran on this car. You're just gonna go ahead and follow the cables to freedom. What I'm going to do, because my amplifier is going to go in this area here, is I have a little bit of excess power cable left. You that are only running an amp to the sub, go ahead and cut your wire. If you guys plan on upgrading the door speakers, I would say 100% save the wire. There's plenty of space for you guys to leave it in here, and there's no harm in having extra wire sitting there. Don't let anybody say anything to you in regards to that. There is absolutely no harm in having extra wire sitting in there. Believe it or not, a lot of these vehicles have a lot of wire just lying in corners during the manufacturing process. If there's a mistake, they can go ahead and pull a few inches back from it. So there we go. There's my power cable ready to go. Now I'm going to cap this off right there. Alright, Now we need to find the location for our ground. Now if you guys have watched any of my other videos, including the backup camera one, and if you guys haven't seen that, here it is right here. The best grounding point that you don't have to clean or anything, it's right there. It's held on by 10mm. So we're going to take the NVX cord that already comes very nicely done, and we're going to slide it in through here and reach back, pull up on it, and then we just have to get it right there into our grounding point. Now it's a 10mm. It's a 10mm that's in there. So best thing to do is get a 10mm wrench. So you're not gonna be able to fit much of nothing in there. Then you can go ahead and twist it off. We are going to close this door, so I do not need to go back in there again. Alright guys, I'm going to explain to you why I always leave more cable on than I have to. I know a lot of you guys keep saying, oh my god, what's going on? Why does he have 4 feet of extra wire at the end of his install? It is better to have more at the end than it is to have less. If you have less and you needed the extra 4 inches or the extra 8 inches, you're gonna have to put in a butt connector and extend the wire, or you're gonna have to rerun a whole new wire. And keep in mind, each time you guys add a butt connector, each time you guys splice, each time you guys tap into a wire, you're adding resistance to the line. Resistance equals heat, and heat equals distortion, and distortion equals the path to being a Sith Lord. And you guys want to avoid that. Always just have extra wire. Doesn't hurt nothing, like I said. Go ahead and just clip it. There we go. There's all of our cables ready to go. They're actually going to go right there. They're not going to go far. They're going to go boom right into the LC2I, and then from the LC2I they're going to move over down in this direction into the amplifier. So I got plenty of wires here, plenty of distance. I can definitely do what needs to be done. Now the next thing that we're going to do is pop this off, just like that. And what we're going to need to do is route our cable, our speaker cable. This actually came from the NVX amp install kit, and this is really nice speaker cable. I mean, holy shit, if I could have ran the whole car with this, that would have been awesome. This is super nice. I mean, we're talking tinned copper. It's freaking legit. And here's the reason why I primarily will always go with NVX for the wiring. It's CEA 2015, which means that they paid the money. They paid the extra money to have this wire tested up to its full capacity. And they stand behind it that if it says it delivers 1,000 watts, it delivers 1,000 watts. So what I'm going to do is feel right about here. You're going to feel a bump. And right where that bump is, I'm going to cut a thin little slit. Not a huge slit, just a thin little slit. Razor knife. And go right about that thin little slit right there. Press in. That's it. That's all I really needed. So, with that, I can go run the wire into it, just like that. And I can route the wire back over to here where the amp is going to go. Now if you guys got some zip ties, you can can zip tie this right up to here. Guys, this is the complete wiring process for the amplifier. You got this wire right here for the amp, you got the speaker going to the sub, and then you got all your individual component speakers coming into your line level converter. This of course is going to be a remote turn on, and I'll show you how to do that. But that's it guys, that's it for today, and next time I see you guys it will be to put in the amplifier and to put in the sub. And if this is something you guys liked, if this is something you guys enjoyed, please hit that like button. And then if this is a project that you really want to see all the way to the end, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because I tend to post a new episode every 2 weeks, and I would love to have you guys as part of the community. In the meantime, take care and peace out.